Hello. So I am making 4 videos. You like the paint on my hand? Went to bingo today. So I'm making 4 videos about each of my mental disorders. A lot of them do like intertwine with each other, so theirs might be overlapping. But I think like the origin of it kind of is different for every single one. This is the first one. This is about depression. I have made this video probably like 4 or 5 times. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think for myself, I have this expectation that it has to be perfect and I have to convey my disorders in the right way. But if I'm being completely honest, mental health, there's nothing perfect about it. It's messy, and this is what this video is gonna do. I'm not editing this video. It's just gonna be me spewing to the camera. So if you watch, thank you. If you don't, that's okay. I probably should say that I'm doing a fundraiser, which descriptions will be in the wherever, and then I'll talk more about it at the end of the video if you watch it. So, depression. This is a fun one to talk about. I was officially diagnosed in, I don't even know what year. I was 16, whatever year that was. But if I'm being completely honest, like I've noticed that I've had symptoms of depression for as long as I can remember. So like a lot of my childhood I don't remember. There's fragments and pieces that I remember, but as a coping mechanism for a lot of the trauma that I experienced when I was younger, I blocked it out to help myself. So when I talk about my childhood, it's kind of a little bit blurry and it's a little messy, but that's just because how it is in my brain too. If that makes sense. I'm gonna say a lot, and I'm sorry to all the speech teachers I've had that told me not to say it's gonna happen. So I was diagnosed, like I said, at 16, and so my depression got super bad when I was 12. So in the span of like 3 or 4 months, I lost my grandma, my house burned down, and then I had to move into who I considered strangers, because I didn't really know them growing up. They lived 2 hours away, but they were my aunt and uncle. They were technically family, like, so they weren't actually strangers, but to me it was a lot. And I blamed myself for a lot of it. I didn't know how to cope with my grandma's death. I couldn't really cope with my grandma's death because of all this other things that were happening. And so I think like 13, I started to cut myself. And that went on for about 3 years. And during that time, my depression got even worse because, like, in my mind, I was self-harming to gain control back, because I felt like my life was so out of control and so chaotic that I needed to control something, and causing pain to myself was that thing. And it was kind of like a release. It was kind of like all my sadness could, like, my mindset on it, like my sadness can like be released with all these like painful things, and that wasn't the case. That was masking problems, which was making it worse. And I finally was able to realize how much it was actually hurting myself and not actually helping as I thought it was, in a weird way, if that makes sense. But like after I stopped self-harming, my depression wasn't cured, didn't go away or anything. But I started to figure out a couple coping mechanisms that would help me. If anyone knows me or close to me, they knew that for probably age like 15 to 24, which I'm turning 26 in like 2 weeks, I would always wear bracelets around my wrists, And if I had any, the reason why I started that was because if I had any urges of self-harming, I would snap the bracelet, and then it became just like a comfort blanket kind of thing. I don't do that anymore, so that's kind of cool. But the one thing with my depression is this is probably not a medical term or like what the proper word is, but like I like to think that I like have high functioning depression. Like a lot of people didn't know what I was going through because I could hide it. I still could kind of put on this show that everything was fine when it really wasn't. I don't think as many people knew how much I was struggling, which I wish now that I would have reached out to someone and been like, hey, I'm not doing well. But there was part of pride that like I didn't want anyone seeing me quote unquote weak. And then of course like the stigma. There's been stigma for years. I mean, it's getting better, but it wasn't great. And then this last year, my mental health took a hit. My depression probably took the biggest hit because for a while there, my depression was under control. I didn't feel numb, which a lot of my depression is just feeling numb, but also feeling every single emotion. So it's this weird thing to explain because it's really hard to explain. Like, how can you be numb but feel all the emotions? It's weird. I just realized that this is in the, my bad, that's my tripod. It's a box. Anyways, so it's weird to explain that like I feel everything and nothing at the same time, and it's hard. And this last year was the first time that my depression started to affect, probably not, it probably wasn't the first time, but in my mind it was the first time because I block things out. So this last year which this is gonna get real personal and probably gross, but this is what mental health is. I stopped showering. I stopped wanting to do basic things. Laundry would build up, and like I live at home, and so thankfully like my mom would do like some of my laundry, which is not good. I understand that. I'm an adult. I should do it myself. But there was times where like the only reason I had clean clothes was because of this amazing, amazing woman. The only reason I ate was because of her. I just wanted to disappear, not like anything dark. I didn't want to be around people, and I forced myself to be around people, which did help a little bit. And I found an amazing group of friends that accepted me wholeheartedly as I am, which also helped. But in those lull moments where I was by myself, I didn't want to get out of bed, I didn't want to shower, I didn't want to eat. I just wanted to turn everything off because it was too much to handle. And I prided myself in being able to manage my depression, in my eyes, so well for so many years. I figured out how to cheat the system. I figured out how to do it without medication, which is what I want. Not everyone can do that. I understand that. I came up with healthy coping mechanisms, but I just threw them out the window, and I don't know why. I kept telling myself I was fine until I realized and kind of stepped away from the mirror and saw the wreck that was my life and was like, okay, I'm not fine. And that's okay, but we cannot keep living like this, and we need to make some changes. And that was a hard realization. It was not fun. Because it's like, I've always thought of like my mental health as like I was a poster child. I was doing this, I was talking in front of people, I was willing to open up on social media. I've never been shy about talking about my mental health. And something changed, and I don't know what it was. I wish I did, but I'm better now. My depression is not completely 100% good, but I'm working on it. I'm in therapy. I'm working on those coping mechanisms that I found years ago. I started redoing them. I started meditation, some yoga, and like journaling has been really helpful. So I'm getting better, but for a while there, hate to say it, but I lost hope. I don't know how to end this. Oh, so I am getting better. I know how strong I am. I know I'm enough to get better and to get like seek help. So I'm very thankful for the people in my life. I am very thankful for my mother. She put up with a lot of me during these last couple months, and oh, that woman, beautiful. So fundraiser. I am selling t-shirts, sweatshirts, long sleeves, all those great stuff, for a great organization called Mental Health Minnesota. I'm also doing a Facebook fundraiser. The links will be somewhere. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you. You are loved. You are enough. If you know someone or you need to seek help, please find that stuff. Please look for resources. DM me, slide into those DMs. I have some resources. Mental Health Minnesota is a great resource if you're in Minnesota. Yeah, thank you.